What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Patriot Specialized. It is Monday morning. We are hooked back to the RGN, checking this thing out, making sure we're good to go. It's Thanksgiving week. Got some interesting stuff to do this week, but a really interesting load to do starting next week. So stick around. We'll be right back. Creeping up the list of probably the coolest stuff I've ever hauled. We're gonna go hunting for Ewoks. I really wish I had like a Darth Vader or a Stormtrooper helmet I could put on while I was going to deliveries.
Black smoke and white line, steel horses side by side. It's more than just a living, y'all.
Oh man,
it's all a way of life.
That grease on my pants. Dang it. It's supposed to be like that. But the longer you look at this thing, the worse it gets. Like,
if you're out here riding with me, come on back and make some noise. We're the last of the cowboys.
All right, guys, it is Monday morning. We're here at the office, here at the shop. Got our took 3 days off this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're back at it this morning. We got a couple interesting things to do, a couple normal things to do. We're gonna do a step deck load with the RGN, 10 foot tall, one little piece, 3,000 pounds, no big deal. Got a couple things to go with it, I guess. So we are getting ready to go do that, but I wanted to hook to the RGN to make sure we're all good with that, because next week we got a super load we're doing with the RGN. So I figured I'd run it this week, make sure that everything's okay, make sure it's running good, doing what it's supposed to do, and I'm questioning it right now. I'm hearing air. So let's go walk around and check. I hooked to it, had a little trouble getting my fifth wheel to move. Obviously, hooked to the step deck, we had to change the fifth wheel position. We don't normally run. As you can see with the RGN, we run our fifth wheel way up here. That transfers the weight the right way. Step deck, we had the fifth wheel set way back here. Because of this long neck, we have to change the fifth wheel position in order to get the weight to go on the drive tires. So we moved it forward enough, but back far enough that we don't, when we turn, we don't hit our mud flap. This is one thing you really got to watch when you're switching trailers from a flatbed to a step to an RGN. If you got a neck that comes down like a step deck or an RGN, you got to make sure that you leave enough space right here so when you make a turn, that mud flap, the corner of that mud flap doesn't catch on that thing and bust a mud flap off, because it will if you're not paying attention. But we got the fifth wheel moved. That was a little bit tricky. Kind of cold this morning. This right here is the air chamber. When you flip the switch inside, this pin pops out, which moves these three little levers right here that lock into place. There's those on both sides. And what was happening there was that thing was just, the grease was real cold. It didn't want to move, so I had to monkey with it a little bit to get that thing to slide in and out like it's supposed to. We aren't completely locked in. We're gonna have to jerk back and forth a little bit, get this to come all the way out. Because these pins that are, you can see them inside there, they actually come out and they're flush with the outside edge. So we're gonna have to wiggle a little bit, get that thing there. But I'm sure we need to run around the other side of the shop there. You can see that black right over the hood of that white Freightliner or International. See the A&H symbol? That's our Conestoga sitting over there, and we need the coil racks out of there to do the second load today. So first load we got is this washer, it's called, 10 foot tall, one piece, 4x4 by 10. Got a couple boxes that go going with it, so no big deal. But we walked around, made sure our lights worked already. I was a little concerned about this thing. It took forever to lift up the back axle, but obviously it did. And now I'm not hearing the air back here anymore. So that makes me feel a little bit better. All of our lights, we checked them all. All of our lights are working. Not hearing the air anymore. We build up like we're supposed to. Everything looks good. The tire that I was concerned about last time I pulled this thing, it's all fixed up. Let's pull around here. Grab a couple coil racks, a couple coil boards. Actually, I think I'm just gonna think I'm just going to use my 6x6s for the coil. I'm not going to bother, because those coil boards, there's really nowhere to put them. I'd have to strap them down somewhere. And the 6x6s work for this one coil that we're going to do. It doesn't make any sense to have boards on the trailer that we're going to have to strap down, unstrap, restrap, unstrap, restrap. So we'll just use our 6x6s for this one coil we got to do. Keeps it up off the trailer pretty good too. So let's pull over there to Conestoga. We'll grab our grab a couple coil racks out of that thing. Right, all right, all right. Got our coil racks. That was easier than I thought. I just opened up the front door and there was a couple right there. I got them hanging right there. A couple right there. Pulled around the other side of the building. We're gonna fill up our coffee cup. Go do this first load. We got a step deck load, but of course, Skippy has a step deck right now. So we're gonna do this step deck load with the RGN. Picking up in Elyria, going 12 miles. Picking up in Elyria, going 12 miles to Columbia Station, Ohio. We're gonna go do that, and then we got a 12 o'clock appointment at the mill. Pick up a 56,000 pound coil to go back down to Brookfield, Ohio. We're gonna pick that up, deliver it down to Brookfield, and then go home for the night. And then tomorrow we got a machine we got to pick up out of Parma, I think it is. Pick it up 8 o'clock in the morning. That one's going to be a little bit more of an event. I got to tarp it. So we're going to pick that up tomorrow morning, run it out. It's going to Detroit, run it out to Detroit. And I think it's supposed to deliver Wednesday morning, but we're going to see. If I pick it up tomorrow morning, by the time I tarp it and everything, if I'm there at 8, get it loaded, by the time I tarp it, I'll be out of there by 10. There is no reason for me not to be in Detroit by 1 o'clock. So we'll see, see if they got riggers or whatever set up for that load tomorrow. But first, we got to get this load done. I did a little filming over the weekend, talking about my trip back. So take a peek at this. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to Patriot Specialized. Today's episode, a little bit different. As you can see, we are not in the truck, but there's a bunch of things that at the end of last episode, I talked about, some interesting things that happened on the way back to California. Obviously, I'm home now, back from California. Did that trip in about 8 days, with 1 day off in between there. That Sunday, we did the restart. So running time, we actually ran about 7 days, 6.5 days. Got back yesterday, went up to delivery, switched out the generator, and I'm gonna tell you why we switched out the generator and the rack, and took that trailer back to the yard here in just 1 minute. So stick around. We've got some chores to do. Let's go do them. Hello, chickens. Hello, chicks. All right, well, first thing we got to do, first chore we got to do anyways, is get these chickens fed. So let's get that done. All right. Chickens are fed. That little chore is done. They were pretty happy. They weren't quite as did get some eggs. Oh, I like to put my eggs in a bucket, bring them up. We did some eggs. They weren't quite as productive as they normally are. But it's kind of to be expected. It's cold outside, so generally when it starts getting cold, they start slowing down unless you put a heater inside the coop. And I'm kind of against putting a heater inside a chicken coop with all the dust and everything that's in there. That sounds like barbecued chicken to me. If you get a heater going on inside there and with all the dust and everything, it sounds like it could catch on fire. So we just don't do it, and they calm down. They slow down producing in the winter, and that's all right because we got enough chickens that they still produce enough for us to eat. So that's all good. Make it worth the money I spent in feeding them. So let's talk about this trip back to California. All right, guys. Well, before we get too far into the trip itself back to California, there's a couple things that I wanted to say, a couple things that I wanted to bring up. I've been meaning to for a couple months now, a month on one of them or so. The subscribers that we have, I appreciate you guys way more than you know and understand. And you guys have always been so good to me. And by watching the channel and sharing and doing all that, but also every now and then some things will pop up, and I got to say my shop just loves it. We got a Ronald, and I'm sorry, Ronald, I don't want to mispronounce your last name, so I'm not going to. But Ronald, he's over in the Netherlands. He sent me obviously a Marine, Netherlands Marine. I'm not even sure what those guys are called over there. I have very little experience, but he sent me a couple of patches. Right after Tango died, he sent me a note along with some Marine patches from over in the Netherlands, and that was just super cool, totally unexpected. And I gotta say, Ron, my shop, the office, just loves it when things show up at the office that are from different countries that are addressed to A&H and to me. They just think that's super cool, and they very much enjoyed the fact that it came in. And I can't thank you enough for those patches. It's so cool to know that people in other countries are watching the channel, and I appreciate that. Also, back in the day when the channel hit 1,000 subscribers, I didn't realize. I actually went back through my videos and watched it, and I didn't realize that I never brought this up. But David, you guys know him. You see his comments as David S. On the channel. He back when we hit 1,000 subscribers, he sent me a little plaque that he knows that YouTube doesn't do it. YouTube doesn't do it until you get to 100,000. But he sent me a little plaque. He had a plaque made, sent me a little plaque that says 1,000 subscribers, and that was just super cool. And I thought that I talked about it, but I didn't. But I just wanted to say, David, thank you. You know, he actually came and met me for dinner. I was stuck with the Boston trip, with the high load in Boston. I was stuck waiting on a permit, and he actually came over to the truck stop, met me for dinner. It was super cool meeting him. Never gets old running into somebody who watches the channel on the road or somewhere, or even if it's scheduled like David and I did that day. But it just never gets old running into people. So I just wanted to take a minute and talk about those two things and say thanks, guys, for doing that, and how much I appreciate the interaction that we have with the channel and the group of people that watches the channel. It's so cool. And hopefully as the channel grows, which I think we're going to grow quite a bit here soon, with something else I'm going to talk about in this video. So that I hope as the channel grows and we get more, everybody stays the same, and we keep this same group of really good, very authentic and thoughtful and interested people that aren't just the trolls on the internet, which we're going to get some of those. We always do. And we're going to get some of those people. But for the most part, this channel has been fortunate, and I'm very thankful that we don't have too many of them. Everybody seems real interested in the actual process and what we're doing and why we're doing it. And I can't thank everybody enough for that. That is what this channel is about. Now, as I said earlier on the video, we got back about noon yesterday. We ended up going back to where we picked up the magnet from. We obviously had the generator and the magnet or the generator and the magnet rack still on the trailer, so we had to drop that off. But there was during the trip coming back, there was a time where I got a phone call from the guy I got the load from, and he said, "Hey, can you be in?" He said, "Hey, you think you can be in Connecticut Monday morning?" And I'm like, well, I could be there, but I don't want to be there on Monday morning. I I worked last weekend. You guys know, you watch the channel. I don't work weekends, hardly ever. He got me to work last weekend going to California, and I was like, you know, you got me to work last weekend. I don't think I can work 2 weekends in a row. Mom might kill me. And I just don't want to do it anyways. Like, I like being at home. I like being, obviously, you're driving around my property right now. I got a lot going on. You can see these dang leaves on the ground that are still here. Still got to fight with these sometime this weekend. So I just didn't think I had time to take another Sunday and run to Connecticut. But our boy Skippy came through and he said, hey, I'll do it. So what I did yesterday when I got back, Skippy was off running his local stuff with his flatbed, and he wasn't going to really have time to get up there and swap stuff out. They needed, obviously, that generator. I didn't talk about this on the episode, but the generator stopped working on me on the way out there on Saturday. So the generator was inoperable, and we need a generator to bring that one back from Connecticut to contain the helium that's in that machine. So we needed to swap out the generator. So I went ahead and went to the delivery and the pickup and dropped the generator off, swapped it out for another generator. It turns out it's a really good thing I did, because the rack that I had was not the correct rack for the load that Skippy's going to be picking up in Connecticut. So they swapped out the rack, swapped out the generator, stuck a couple boxes on the trailer. You guys see a picture of that. We got that all done for Skippy. We were there about 2.5 hours. They had to switch some lines from the generator, put them onto the other generator. There was a damaged line they found, so they swapped them out and put that line on. I had to do a couple things. We were there about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, getting that stuff switched around, getting the trailer all set up, ready to go for Skippy. Now, you'll notice in the picture that the axles are still closed. We did a whole episode about closing down them axles because I had to go to California because of that law. Turns out that Connecticut has the same exact law. So they are a 40-foot requirement, no more than 40 foot between your kingpin and your rearmost axle. So I just went ahead and left it for the whole trip back. I just went ahead knowing that the Connecticut was coming and knowing that that trailer was going to go to Connecticut. I just went ahead and left the axle closed down for Skippy. So that is why you still see the axle closed. I talked on that video about how I was going to open it back up, and I just went ahead and left it closed because Connecticut has the same rule. So that will help Skippy out. He's all set up, ready to go. I dropped that trailer. That picture you saw, that's dropped right at the yard, right next to our shop. Skippy is he's going to run in there today, I believe. Today's Friday. Today, I believe he's going to finish up what he had going on. Run in there, drop his bills off, and snatch up that trailer, take it home. And he's going to leave out on Sunday so he can be there first thing Monday morning to pick up that magnet and bring it back to Macedonia. So all right, he happened to come out right as I was walking around the corner, so went around the back of the parking lot, spun around. We're right back where we were sitting when we pulled in. He's supposed to be coming out of the back door back here with I guess it's a hopper and some parts. So we're spinning around, put in place, waiting on him to bring it out and put it on. This thing's supposed to be 4 foot by 4 foot by 10 foot tall. And then some pieces with it. Oh, there he is with his forklift. And it's only going 12 miles to Columbia Station. So the big question, I think, for today is, am I going to get into 18th gear before I get to delivery? That's a big question. about 8 minutes. We are loaded up, ready to go our 12 miles. So you guys saw him putting it on, but this is what we got. This is our big heavy load for the day. We definitely needed we got a 55-ton trailer, 6 axles, and we have very little weight on here. Whole load weighs about 3,000 pounds. I got 2 straps. I just put them right over where they had their edge protection. That helps my strap out. There really is no concern there. It certainly isn't going to go anywhere. And in this one, it worries me a little bit, just because of the way it had to be strapped, but we got it pinched in there pretty good. That thing's pretty tight. I don't think it's going anywhere. So 3,000 pounds. We got 3 straps holding it in. Got plenty of securement. We're only going 12 miles, so let's go see if we can get into 18th gear before we get to delivery. I doubt it. Made it to delivery. We did not get out of 17th gear. Made it to delivery, going around the building now. I guess maintenance is going to take this thing off, and then we will be out of here. Going to get our coil from Cleveland. He said, follow this around. There's a double door. Interesting. I hope he means over here. Let's see what happens. Right. Well, he said he's got to wait on a forklift. So we're going to get it ready. He's going to come out and take it off with a forklift. So we'll get it ready to go. Well. We got our coil picked up in Cleveland. 52,300 pound coil. Got it picked up in Cleveland. That turned into a little bit of an event. They were super busy up there. Well, they weren't that busy, but the guy they had picking the coils and putting them on trucks, he just wasn't as fast as they normally are at that door. So, and then we got down here and now we're running in the same scenario. A bunch of trucks. They must have shipped a bunch of these out today. So waiting in line to get unloaded. It's kind of interesting here when you check in. They sign your paperwork and then they give you a tag like this, and you give this tag to the forklift guy. He pulls up where he is, you give it to him, he walks on the trailer, spray paint something on the trailer. You actually got to watch. You got to be standing kind of far away because he'll spray paint you. If you're standing there getting your chains off or something and he's spray painting, he will spray paint you 100%. So looks like he's moving back through right now, coming to everybody, putting the tags on and spray painting. That way we can just pull up, get unloaded, pull up, get unloaded, pull up, get unloaded. So we got one more behind us right now. I went ahead and took all my chains off and everything right here. I'm in a straight line to go back there because you look at that driveway right there. That is all mud. All mud. And I don't feel like walking through the mud, getting my chains and running them, putting them away, taking them off, putting them away, and walking around the trailer in the mud, and then climbing in my truck and getting the inside of my truck all muddy too. So, got my chains already off. I'm not even gonna get out of the truck. I'm gonna give him the tag. He's gonna do his thing. I'm gonna pull up. I'll get unloaded up there. Then we will pull around the front side of the building to back to where it's blacktop and not a big mud pit, and we will jump out and put our coil racks and boards away, head on up to the house. So this should be it for today. And of course, it's my turn to unload and he drives away. No idea where he's going. Did I mention how much I like steel mills? Man, this has been the story of my life today. First load that wasn't a steel mill. Super fast. Pulled in, guy was waiting, said, oh, I'll put these on. He put them on. I was there 8 minutes, I think. 12 miles later, I was at delivery. Didn't even get into 17th or 18th gear. Went to the steel mill, pick up a coil. Shit show. Sat there for an hour and a half. Come down here, get checked in. Everybody else got unloaded pretty quick. My turn, crickets. It's 2:47 in the afternoon. I could have been home about 2 hours ago if it wasn't for all of this gibberish. Man, steel mills. And empty. Now we're headed to the house. 2+ hours sitting there, 2.5 hours. Sitting there because the forklift operator, first shift forklift operator, it was his time to go home. So he went over, parked the forklift, didn't bother to tell anybody inside that there was trucks outside. And they moved the second shift forklift operator into the line to work the line inside with making coils. That, I just lost 2.5 hours of my life because the forklift operator was so inconsiderate that he didn't tell anybody there was trucks outside. Apparently he thought it was someone else's job to tell him. That, my friends, is how truck drivers get treated at steel mills. 2.5 hours of my life. Could have been home at 2 o'clock. Got a bunch of stuff done today at my house. Could have got all that done. Nope. Nope. Steel mill. Such is life. This is trucking, people will say. This is trucking. That's trucking. That's trucking. That's what everybody says. Oh, that's trucking. But should it be? Should it be like that? Should we accept that? Should we be okay with being treated like that? Should we be okay with missing time at home because some dude went over and parked the forklift and didn't bother to tell anybody there was trucks out there that needed to be unloaded? No, we shouldn't be okay with that. We just shouldn't. But we're on our way home now, so I guess I'll go home, eat dinner, not get anything done that I wanted to do this afternoon that I was hoping to do because I should have had an early day, but because of 2 steel mills, it'll be dark when I get home.